Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back. So Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn just sat down face to face for the first time since this fight got announced. And bro, it did not go how anyone expected. There's a moment near the end where Garcia says something so cold that the entire room goes silent. No cap, I had to rewind it 3 times. We're gonna get there, but stay with me, because before that moment hits, there's a whole storm building up that you need to see first. Let's get into it.
How's Ryan Garcia?
I'm liking these questions, you know. How many rounds? I've got a lot to prove in this fight. Not just to everyone else, but to myself. You know, the 10 years ago, me as a kid, who first turned over to be in a position I'm in now, where I can solidify my own legacy and prove the irrelevant of all the noise, irrelevant of all the haters, irrelevant of all the no's you can't do. I'm gonna go into this fight fueled with a chip on my shoulder to prove to the world that I will and will be the greatest WBC champion. So, you know, for me, to answer your question, I'm gonna come out fast and put it on him and hopefully get him out there early. Win 4.
What are you looking forward for the left hook?
What am I looking for? They said don't hook with a hooker. It's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so quick recap for anyone just landing here. September 12th, Las Vegas. Ryan Garcia defends his WBC welterweight title against Conor Benn. Garcia announced this on the Jimmy Fallon show, which honestly tells you everything about how big he thinks this is. We're talking national TV, not some midnight Twitter post. Now here's the thing about Benn. This dude hasn't made 147 pounds in 4 years. His last fight was at 150 against Regis Prograis, and before that he was up at 160 trading bombs with Chris Eubank Jr. So when the WBC says he's the #1 ranked contender at welterweight, bro, a lot of people are raising their eyebrows at that. And get this, Eddie Hearn, who's literally Benn's own promoter, came out and said Garcia is actually a bigger star in the UK than Benn is in America. Think about that. Hearn basically admitted this fight might not be the monster commercial event everyone's hyping it up to be in the States. So that's the backdrop. 2 guys who genuinely don't like each other, a title on the line, and a weight class question mark hanging over the whole thing. Now let's get into the actual face-off, because this is where it gets spicy. So they're sat across from each other, cameras rolling, and right away you can feel the tension. Benn opens up talking about his prep, saying stuff like, "I know myself will be 100%, and that he doesn't think there's anything Garcia's gonna show him that he hasn't seen before." Garcia's response? Ice cold. He just leans back, doesn't raise his voice, and basically says when he looks at Benn, he doesn't see anything new. That's it. No yelling, no theatrics, and honestly, that's almost more savage than if he'd gone off on him. Then it gets personal. There's this exchange where they're going back and forth about your city, like literally taunting each other about home turf. And Benn straight up tells Garcia, "I fought many fighters like you." And Garcia just claps back with, "Somehow I find the target every time." Then Benn throws out, "You don't think I'm gonna hit you with that left hook?" And honestly, bro, the body language in this room was wild. Neither guy backed down an inch. But here's the part that really got people talking. Garcia dropped a line that he's gonna come out fast and put it on Benn, calling his shot, saying he's getting him out of there early. And he's not just saying it for hype either. The way he said it was so calm, so matter-of-fact, like he's already seen the ending in his head. Okay, so obviously the boxing world went nuts after this dropped. Let's run through some of the reactions because this is where the story gets way bigger than just 2 guys talking trash. First up, Paulie Malignaggi. And bro, Paulie did not hold back. He basically said Benn is an okay fighter, but the second people start putting his name next to Shakur Stevenson or world title conversations, that's where Paulie loses it. He literally said Shakur would beat him with 1 hand, and that Benn doesn't belong anywhere near that conversation. Then you've got Max Kellerman throwing out odds. He's saying this could be like a 3-1 fight in Garcia's favor, like -350 versus +250. That's a pretty big gap for what's supposed to be a world title fight, no cap. Gareth Davies went even further and predicted Benn gets knocked out completely, saying Garcia's left hook and timing are just on another level right now. But, and this is important, not everyone's sleeping on Benn. His dad, Nigel Benn, came out with full confidence, saying his son can beat anybody put in front of him, including Garcia or Devin Haney. And Frank Smith said, yeah, it's the toughest test of Benn's career, but he refuses to write him off because of how hard the guy trains. So you've got this split. Half the boxing world thinks Garcia just walks through him. The other half is saying don't sleep on Benn's power and pressure, which honestly sets up perfectly for what happens next. Because here's where it gets crazy. So remember how I said there's a moment that shut the whole room down? Here it is. In the middle of all this, someone brings up Devin Haney, and Garcia, completely unprompted, basically calls Benn a coward, saying, "Where has this energy been for the last 2 years?" accusing him of only stepping up now because Garcia's vocal about it. Benn fires back, saying he just went 10 rounds with Prograis, and that Garcia's performance against Barrios wasn't exciting. But then, wait for it. Garcia's dad Henry steps in, and Henry goes after Benn's promotional deal with Zuffa Boxing. Like, full out criticizes the move, saying Zuffa hasn't been perfected yet, and that Benn basically screwed himself by signing with them right before a career-defining fight. And get this, Dana White is right there in the room, and he kind of just agrees? He's making jokes about Benn being stuck now because of the contract. So now it's not even just Garcia versus Benn anymore. It's Benn versus Garcia's entire camp, plus the head of a rival promotion sitting there low-key trolling him to his face. The temperature in that room had to be insane. And then, here's the line that broke the internet. Garcia just looks at Benn and says he's terrified and has PTSD. Just drops it like it's nothing. No yelling, just calm, cold, and brutal. That's the moment. That's what I've been building up to this whole video. Because in that second, you could see Benn's whole face change. He didn't have a comeback. For the first time in this entire build-up, Conor Benn looked rattled. Okay, but before we get to my final take, there's one more thing you need to know about, because it adds a whole extra layer to this. Remember how I mentioned Devin Haney earlier? Well, bro, while all this Benn drama is happening, there's a whole separate conversation going on about whether Garcia is even fighting the right guy. A bunch of analysts are out here saying the real fight, the biggest fight in the welterweight division period, is Garcia versus Haney 2. And when you think about it, they kind of have a point. These two already gave us one of the most dramatic fights of the year. Garcia dropped Haney 3 times. It ended in controversy with that no contest. And now both of them are actual world champions. Unfinished business, bad blood, 2 belts on the line. So while Garcia's out here calling Benn terrified and dropping PTSD jokes, there's this whole other storyline brewing in the background where people are basically asking, why isn't this the fight happening in September instead? Keep that in the back of your mind, because depending on how September goes, this might not even be the last big fight announcement we hear this year.
Any message to Conor Benn?
I mean, I was actually practicing, when I was training the other day. I was like, boom, like say the fight starts and I hear a British guy just talking. And I just had somebody do a British accent nonstop, and I'm just like, all right, I got used to it, because I know he's like a little Chihuahua. He's like a British Chihuahua. Mate. Like some crazy shit. Like I just gotta know like that's gonna happen. I think that he's he's all right. I mean, he's just all right to me. You know what I mean? He's overall really good, aggressive, but just kind of gets old. Like when somebody's very skilled and experienced, they're gonna pick him apart pretty bad. Like he's gonna get knocked out, probably by me, just like Floyd and Ricky Hatton. Just rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. Love you, Ricky. I just think that he has that style of he's getting over himself too much, and Chris didn't take advantage of any of those moments. Like, what's his name would shoot shots and like come over and just a little sloppy at times. And a very sharp fighter is going to take advantage of that, guaranteed. My first option would be Shakur. My second option, hear that, Conor? Second option would be Conor Benn. Sure.
So where does this leave us heading into September? Honestly, bro, this fight just got 10 times more interesting because of what happened in that room. It's not just about boxing skills anymore. It's personal. It's about Benn's whole camp and his decision-making being questioned to his face. And it's about whether he can actually keep his composure when fight night comes. On paper, most experts are leaning Garcia, the speed, the experience, that left hook. But there's still that question mark about Garcia's gas tank, since he's never really been pushed into the late rounds by someone who can actually hurt him. And if Benn can drag this into deep water and make it ugly, who knows? But after seeing that face-off, after seeing Benn go quiet for the first time this whole camp, I think Garcia just won round 1 before either of them even throws a punch. Drop your prediction in the comments. Are we getting a Garcia knockout, or does Benn shock everyone in September? Smash that subscribe button if you want more breakdowns like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.